My name is Craig Lotz, Chief Executive Officer of Sens-O-Lock of America, and I'm here to talk to you about the Best Labs FR9000, which is what Sens-O-Lock of America distributes. We cover 14 states from Alabama up through Maine. This device is a very simple device to use. It uses what's referred to as a straight blow methodology, which means you take a medium deep breath, you blow into the unit for 4 seconds, it clicks when there's sufficient air, and that's really all you have to do. You don't have to, as in other models, do the blow, suck, blow, or blow, hum, blow method in order to have a valid sample. To operate the system, we have a simulator here. We just turn the key on the vehicle on. It provides power to the dash, power to the device. It's going to prompt you for a sample. It tells you when the lockout date is, when the service date is, and then it'll prompt us for a sample. You want to hold it so that the screen is facing your left side of the driver's side door, and just provide a straight sample. You hear that click. The click indicates sufficient air, and zeros. Now it says you may start the engine, drive carefully. So there's a series of retests that occur for as long as the vehicle engine is on. It's very important not to miss this test, because that'll be counted as a violation. In fact, most states, New York included, would look at a failed or missed retest more severely than a failed start test. A failed start test did its job and didn't let the individual start the car under the influence. A failed retest may mean that the person had been drinking while driving, or perhaps having somebody else started the vehicle for them and they drove home. When you turn the engine off, it gives you a free 120-second restart period. It'll say you may restart the engine in 120 seconds. This is to enable those that have a stick shift, if they stall the car in traffic, not to go through the entire start process, but they can merely just turn the key on and start the engine again. To turn it off, you just simply press the center button, release it, and that will shut the unit off. We do suggest that in extreme temperatures, hot or cold, that the unit be brought indoors. It's very simple to do. You just turn this ring nut, the little braided ring nut. It slides off the connector on the cable side. You can bring it indoors. And this makes the start process much easier in the morning. If it's 15 below zero out, it's probably close to that inside the vehicle, which could take 5 or 6 minutes for the sensors to be heated up properly. To reconnect it, there's a notch on this. You simply insert it, finger tighten, and you're good to go. The way the devices operate is it takes the initial test to start the vehicle, and the set point in New York State is 0.025. So to 0.025, it's virtually zero tolerance. So you need to have, there could be no alcohol in your system. Alcohol could be a result of chewing gum. There's some chewing gums that have, Eclipse, for example, has 2 grams of sugar alcohol. If that gum is fresh in your mouth and you're providing a sample, you'll likely fail it. Certainly any kind of mouthwash that contains alcohol will result in a failure. There are many contaminants. Even if you apply hand sanitizer, and before it evaporates, you pick up the unit, take a big deep breath and blow into it, you're going to fail that test because there's 60% alcohol in hand sanitizer. So things like that you need to be conscious of. But sure, if I'm at the pub and I'm drinking and my buddy has not been, I say, hey, do me a favor, blow in this thing for me so I can go home, and he does that or she does that. I get in the car and I drive off. Now these retests occur on a random basis. The first one occurs in about 5 or 10 minutes. Then it's random every 30 minutes past that. So if I get this retest, it comes up, and I think, well, I know I can't pass it because I've been drinking, or if I just, so I choose to ignore it. Or I try it, I fail it. Those are generally considered more severe infractions than just a failed start test. So. It's also very important to, and we've had people in other states that have been extended due to tests being avoided, for example, and it's most often it's just lack of knowledge, but they'll pull into the driveway, and just before they do so, it'll prompt them for a test, and they simply turn the engine off. They think, well, I'm home, I don't have to provide the sample, and they shut it down. That is considered a violation. That is referenced in our training material as well as the documentation, but people don't always take a look at that closely. So it's also very, very important to always provide the test when requested. Depending on the state, New York State is every 30 days. The data is downloaded off this device. So on a 30-day cycle, we download the data, we recalibrate it to ensure it's accurate. Once the data is pulled off it and it goes down, it'll identify to the second what sample was provided, what the alcohol level was, if any. That gets transmitted to the probation office or whomever is monitoring the case for that specific individual. So that occurs on a regular basis. This device is it's a personal breathalyzer, and we have customers that will purchase this in order to test themselves on a standalone freestanding unit as opposed to blowing into the car. Oftentimes, people are not prohibited from drinking. Some people are under the probation requirements, but others are just not allowed to drink and drive. So this enables them to test themselves first by blowing into it. If the reading is less than 0.025 on this device, then they use the one in the vehicle, and now they're not running the risk of being violated. So it's a great tool to have to test themselves, again, because this one counts. This one does not.